welcome to the Invincibles with NIDHIKA BHAL. And today in the studio, I have with me Dr. Anu Mehta, who is the first ever Meta Health Master Trainer in India. Let's welcome Dr. Anu Mehta to the show. Hello, Dr. Anu. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for calling me.
And thank you for being here. Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
So, I'm somebody who's a mom. And more than anything else, I think I'm very passionate about studies.
Lovely.
And so I landed up studying various modalities.
Wow.
And I'm the first master trainer in Meta Health. I'm also the pioneer in the field of Meta Health in India.
Wow.
I'm also the master trainer in advanced clearing energetics, matrix re-imprinting. I teach EFT, which is under Carl Dawson right now and used to be under Amit before this. I also integrate Lucia color test with everything else that we do, which is another diagnostic tool which we connect with Meta Health. I love sound, integrating that part of it. We add numbers, colors, you name it, and it's integrated into the work that I do, including coloring, drawing, because all these modalities give me a part of who the person is. And for me, I'm intrigued to kind of understand how the human mind really works.
Wow.
And more than human mind, what really human behavior is all about. Why do we act the way we do? Why do we do what we do?
Right.
And so somehow, I think it's like Meta Health has become a part of me, or I've become a part of it. It's like almost in sync with each other.
Awesome. So I need to know all about it. So are we ready to get into the interview?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we'll go into our segment 1, which is called Where It All Began. Okay, Dr. Anu, tell me, as a child or while growing up, what was the most important thing you wanted from life? Some of your dreams, aspirations, and goals?
So there were two things that was like really loud in my head. One was I always wanted to travel, like, have a backpack on my back, have loads of money in that bag, and then just travel. That was one image that was consistently and constantly there in my head, that I need to travel, I need to explore, because, sitting in a classroom and understanding geography was like, oh God, don't do that to me. The other bit, when I started with my periods, it was so shabbily handled by my mom that I, as a kid of 8.5 who started with the period, and constantly hiding it from my mom because she thought that, if I didn't have it next month, and I didn't have it next month, and I didn't have it next month, then things were fine. Well, we all know that once the period starts, it starts. You can't stop it, right? And for an 8.5-year-old, that was too much of a pressure to carry.
Oh my God.
And the best part of the whole story was I kept thinking as an 8.5-year-old that I must do something about this period. Like when, I become big, I'll stop this period from happening. And nobody on this earth will ever be, forced to have this problem. You know how it is, like a child.
Of course, I can understand. Of course. Wow. Amazing. I mean, people pay lakhs and lakhs of rupees to make them happen. So it's ironical that, yes, of course I get it. So what was the key defining moment in your life which, completely changed the direction on which you were?
At 6 years of age, I was sexually abused by a man who was old enough to be my grandfather.
Oh my God.
A relative, someone who my mom and dad knew. And it went on for about 6 years. And then,
are you saying?
Yeah. And then I just forgot about it.
How do you forget about it?
I think human mind is so beautiful. It doesn't want you to remember things that are going to be traumatic for you, and things which are extremely traumatic.
Right.
Your mind just kind of hides it. And then I regained the memory back. I knew something wasn't okay, but never knew how bad it was. I regained memory back when I was 40 years of age.
What are you saying? That's a lot. That's like after 30, no, not 34, but like almost 28 years, right?
So it's like I knew something was not okay, but I couldn't put a finger to it. And then at 40 years of age, when I first went to Carl Dawson's workshop, which was happening in Prague, I was staying in east of Europe at that point. And he was running his first matrix reimprinting workshop. And he started tapping on me. And I regained my memory back. And it was a most traumatic session. It's supposed to be, how do you say, emotional freedom technique, higher level, which is called matrix reimprinting. And here I was howling and bawling away, and they were recording just like this. And they actually never put it up. I'm so thankful to Carl Dawson. He never put it up. He never he was so protective.
Yeah, I know, because it's all the pain coming off for so many years.
Yes. And then the memories just never stopped. And that kind of made me realize that every second child, every fourth child, especially in our country. And this is not just happening in our country. It's happening everywhere. It's a global phenomenon. Yet when I open the newspapers every day, my heart burns inside when I look at, 3-year-old or 2-year-old, a baby in a cradle, 9-month-old, a 81-year-old. Yeah. So, I went through that rubbish, if you can call it. But you know what? If you turn around anything that you've gone through into something more meaningful, and it was hard in the beginning to convert it into anything meaningful, because there was so much anger.
I can imagine.
There was so much of anger.
You never tried to tell anybody when you were young?
I don't think, if I couldn't tell my mom about my periods. And that probably was the reason that I got periods so early.
Possible, yeah.
If I can't tell her about a period that I'm going to have, which is natural, this wasn't supposed to be natural. I wasn't going to talk about it. And it, every time I even talk about it, and I've written about it, worked with kids who have sexually been abused by their own fathers and brothers maybe. But yet, that sadness, that pinch, it's like the same feeling that I had when I had my period and my mom was saying,
that it's something.
Kuch karenge iske bare mein.
Correct. It's something bad or.
Yeah, like something needs to be done about it. That has always stayed, something needs to be done about it.
Right. So Dr. Anu, tell me, when did you first realize that you have intuitive powers or you can see things before they happen?
So at the age of 14, I realized that I do have something that is called intuitive powers. Of course, I didn't know the word intuitive powers. But my grandmom from my mom's side had it. My both children have it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I don't think my children are even aware of it. So at 14, the first time that I became aware of it was an incident where I was sitting with my mom and telling her, Mom, I know that my grandmother's not fine. And she said, Kya hua? I said, I have a feeling that she's not fine. I just went on like that for more than half an hour.
Kuch to sahi nahi hai, pata nahi kya.
Kya? And I said, Grandma. And then I'm watching TV, and in the TV, they say that there was a stampede in which there was a lady called Shakuntala Devi who has expired. That was the name of my grandmom.
Ouch.
And she had the same kind of a tattoo that my grandmom had on her hand. Now, that was eerie because when my mom saw that right in front and it flashed right in front of us, she looked at me and said, Bhul ja, don't ever think about it again. These are not the things that we should get into or encourage. And these things keep happening. Like if my driver, his wife got burned, before she died, I knew that she's not going to be there anymore. I hadn't visited her for about 4 or 5 days. And middle of the night, I had a dream. I scream, which is so typical of how I will see something. And my husband, Vikram, got really shattered and said, what's wrong with you? Why are you screaming like that? I said, but wo bula rahi hai mujhe. She's calling Akka. She was a South Indian lady. And the way I saw my dream is exactly how it happened the next day. The first thing, I reached the hospital and asked the doctor, how long does she have? And he said, "Sham tak nahi bachegi." And it's not very nice to see people not going to be there in this world anymore, or something horrible is going to happen. I also do see nice things that will happen. But most of the stuff that it will cross through my brain would be something that's really traumatic that's going to happen. And then I try forgetting because it's scary if it really happens. And 9 out of 10 times it repeats. If I remember something that I've dreamt, it stays. It just stays there.
Right. So what made you go into the field of healing initially? I believe you learned Reiki as the first thing. Like, what made you start, and how did you get into it, and how did it all evolve for you?
So can you believe I didn't believe in God?
Really? I mean, that's the first
God
thing.
is not there.
Oh, wow. That's the first thing anybody who's from healing would say, oh, universe or God or source or energy.
No. None of that existed for me.
Wow.
Like I said, there was this driver who used to work at a house. His name was Kumar, and I don't know what happened, but his wife got burnt, and she was a young bride, 6 months pregnant. And so I was called to the hospital, and I seemed to be seeing a lot of disrespect for women. So she was lying down nude, no cage on her, nothing. She was completely burnt, other than the part where she was pregnant. And her one hand was fine.
Oh my.
Okay? And people were coming to see a nude lady. And so I started holding her hand every day. Didn't know what that meant. And she would live another day, another day, another day. And I realized what I was doing was giving her energy. And from a space of not believing in God at all, and for many years, I actually would fight and say, there's nothing called God. There's nothing called energy. To a place where I feel that universe constantly is protecting me.
Right.
It's a whole journey. It's okay not to believe.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's absolutely fine not to believe.
Yeah. So, so obviously you started off with, I believe, Reiki first, is that right? And then you went on to learn other modalities. So you were in Prague by the time you were learning Meta Health, is that where you started?
Actually, when we were at the brink of leaving Prague is when I started Meta Health.
Okay.
Before that, in Prague, I was teaching people Reiki. And I used to do one-to-one sessions. People used to, from all nationalities, they used to come home.
Right.
And it used to be a very interesting session because I used to provide Indian food to them. There were firangs there, and they were loving it. And
it was like the whole Indian experience.
The whole Indian experience. And they would spend a whole day over there with me. And it was just amazing.
Wow.
And and then I came back home because there was a recession that happened. You must have heard of 2008 recession.
Yes, of course.
The banking industry went down the drain.
Yes, that's right.
Big organizations just completely vanished. So my husband and our family was one of those people whose job went at that point.
Oh my.
So, and there was nothing holding us there. So one day you have this beautiful bungalow that you're living in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And the other day you don't have a job. Kids have no school. You have no car, because all that is given by and provided by the company.
Yes.
And you've heard of the pink slip. All they did was, we give you a golden handshake. They did give us a lot of money. So it wasn't that money wasn't there. But as an Indian, it's not about money only.
Right.
It's about that you worked so many years to reach. Vikram had worked 17 years in city.
Oh my God. So he must be at a very high post there.
He was a vice president.
Wow.
And doing extremely well.
And
we had the works, the car, the things that come with the corporate living.
Right.
And then suddenly you don't have anything. Including you're staying in a country outside, you don't even have a PR. Because your PR, which is permanent residency, is dependent on the company that you work in.
Correct. So you have to relocate. There is no choice, right?
There is no choice. So at that point, when I came back to India, it was more about you have to come back. You don't have a choice. And so then I created from whatever got created was from no choice to creating choice. So Meta Health was there at that point. Richard Fluke is the person I met. So first person I met was Carl Dawson.
Right.
Who helped me regain back my memory, like I said. And the second person that I really met who changed my life is Richard Fluke. He's right now in Canada. He's my mentor. He's a beautiful person. Wow. Beautiful soul. And yeah, I mean, I was one Indian between all the Chesky people, and he was speaking in English, and I could understand English.
He must have really loved you.
and the rest of the crowd was getting a translation.
Right.
And that subject was meant for me.
Correct.
Yeah. That's how I started connecting with Meta Health. It wasn't about Meta Health. It was about getting a resource in my hand, which was then going to help me to wade through all the problems that I was going to have for the rest of the years.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a successful career, so to say, like, as you said, that you had to start from nowhere and no hope to creating what you've created for yourself today, right? So I'm sure there were many moments of good fortune. Have you counted yours?
In fact, I think every misfortune of mine transformed itself into something so beautiful that I have a basket full of fortunes that I collected on the way. Today, I feel that abundance touched every part of my life.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah. Since we've been talking about Meta Health so much, I'm sure I want to get into asking you something about Meta Health. So we'll go right into our segment 2, which is called the Midas Touch. So Dr. Anu, tell me, there's zillions of modalities out there, right? But you still chose Meta Health. Why is that?
I don't think I chose Meta Health. Meta Health chose me.
It was meant for you.
It was scientific.
Right.
It was beautiful.
Right.
And like I said, I met Richard Fluke. And by fluke came Meta Health into my hand.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And it was almost like between Carl Dawson, who taught me matrix-free imprinting.
Right.
And what I think really fascinated me to this field was that there was nothing mumbo-jumbo about it. I could put it down, 1 + 1 is 2, and that is how the health was.
Wow.
And it was so accurate, so divine, that everything else, including EFT, matrix-free imprinting, kind of added on to it.
Got it. Yeah. So it became your base modality. Would you say that?
I wouldn't call it my base modality. I would call it that if there was anything that stirs my heart or fell in love with, and I often call Meta Health my third baby.
I was going to say love at first sight.
Yeah, it was like I found myself.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I would say. I found myself, and some divine power found me.
So tell me, how does Meta Health really work in helping someone? I mean, you said it's a diagnostic tool, right? So how do you work with Meta Health, and what are some of the challenging cases that you may have dealt with in your journey as a Meta Health practitioner?
Okay, so the first question was, how does it kind of fit into the whole story, right?
Right.
So Meta Health is basically a diagnostic tool. Everything else that we were chatting even before, like theta healing, sound, fits into
access. Yes.
Access, and there are various modalities,
many.
And all of them are beautiful.
Right.
I agree with you. Every one of them have a place.
Yes.
Meta kind of forms the base, like a trunk, and these are like the little leaves around the whole story. All these therapies. So what does the main trunk do? It helps me to identify what part of your life, like you said, what was the turning point in your life, and what happened after that. So I would ask the same question to my client and say, hey, what was the turning point in your life? And after which you realized that you had a health problem.
Right.
Same stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
What happened in your life that after something really maybe very nice.
Correct.
or something horrible.
Right. So all the emotional triggers, so to say.
Not just the emotion, they just don't pick up the psychological part of it. We're looking at the biology.
Okay.
And we're looking at the biology does react all the time. And biology is reacting. So I can look at the biology, go back and tell you your whole entire life. So there's a joke goes on between me and my mom that if I don't have a job, I can become a baba. And then she says, well, you can't become a baba because you are a woman.
Barbie.
A Barbie.
That's why we have Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, so what are some of the challenging cases? Like, what kind of cases do people come to you for? And
so I would say anything that people generally find me when doctors have said that you cannot survive.
Amazing.
Okay, so they come with cancers. Some of them have come with bipolarity. Some of them for as simple as a pimples not going from the face. Right. Some of them would come for relationship issues that they have and they don't know what to do about it. And whether it's a relationship, it can create a health problem, or whether it's an abuse, it can create a health problem, or whether you have a health problem, you can go back and identify what was going on in life.
Correct.
So a few cases that we've really got amazing results. No names to be taken here. There was this beautiful man. I remember this was the beginning of my career, and someone recommended his name, and we worked only over the Skype. I met him twice.
Wow.
That's it. And he had bipolarity and Parkinson's.
Both together?
Both together. He is a surgeon by profession.
Ouch.
And retina specialist.
Oh my God.
And you know retina means how?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't just mess.
Oh my God. So he obviously had no career as a result, right?
After he was locked up in the room.
Yeah, not allowed to work.
And he was in part of the country, again, I won't mention where, where people called him mad.
Obviously, yeah, I understand.
And that's how, when his kids were asked their nana, or grandparents, what's happened to our father, and said he's gone mad. This guy would sit down and cry.
Obviously.
And today he's gone back to saving more than 6,000 eyes.
Oh my God. So he got completely all right.
He's completely all right. And there's so many times when he said, talk about me, and I said no. Because people don't like imperfections.
Right.
They like perfect stories.
Right.
I don't have any perfect stories. Then there was a case of this little baby who was brought in, 3-day-old baby.
Wow.
How do you talk to a 3-day-old baby?
Absolutely. I was wondering,
are you going to do any therapy? A 3-day-old baby coming with scars all over her genitals, like big boils, and then the back, her butt area completely covered with sores, and her leg was bent. We used over here a lot of NES work, NES health work, along with meta health work. And along with that, when we worked with her, she today is about 3 years of age. She can walk, she can run. We actually never did any therapy on her, but we worked on her parents.
Yeah. I thought as much. It's all from the mother's womb, right?
Yeah.
And maybe do you believe in past karma, maybe karmic or baggage or past life baggage?
So I would refrain from that because it's so easy to say your karmas aren't okay or somebody did karma.
Yeah,
so
my
whole story would be kind of, I do believe in past life, but here it was more like we did this scan for the parents and for the baby. And what came out loudly in the scan was, and it's not a visual scan, it's a whole software.
Got it, right.
Where the emotion that got picked up was anger. Why should a baby 3-day-old be angry? So when questioned, the mother said, abortion karana chahte the. They didn't want me to have a child who was a girl because there's a god bharai ceremony.
Correct.
And she picked up the mithai and they said, well, it's going to be a daughter. There was not even a sonography done or anything. And said, we don't want this baby at all. What was the baby doing having scars on her genitals, wanting to change herself to become a boy? Yes. And she couldn't walk. She couldn't think of coming in this world and walking properly as a woman. We stunt our babies right inside the womb.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't even realize, right, what we're doing to our children inside.
No. Even when we're cooking, we spend more time looking at the recipe, but when we're making children, we're so much in hurry to kind of just have a baby, or, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this, that, and that from tomorrow. It's really sad.
So tell me, Dr. Anu, when somebody comes to you as a mental health trainer, what is it that, you like, let's say somebody comes who's feeling really unworthy, maybe they've gone to some amazing childhood traumas, and a lot of children have their own versions of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. It could be many others.
Absolutely.
Maybe beaten up a lot as a child, or maybe just parents never had the time to give to the kid, or maybe there was no breastfeeding. I think everything has an impact, right? So any of these cases, like when they come to you, what are you able to do for them?
Okay. In the one-to-one session, when we are having, the first thing that I do with them is I make them draw.
Okay.
Then we use Lucia color tests to kind of pick up what is the psychological basis from where they're coming. We do a body scan, which is a Provision Nest Health body scan. So we know how the body is doing.
Right.
So these are two things very scientifically created. Then, and very, very important, more than all this, I talk to them. And that in their talk, we're giving them specific questions, like you're giving me specific questions, so that they could answer me in a very specific way.
Right.
We asked them to write what was happening around their life during that time. If the child is really tiny and cannot talk for himself or herself, then we'll ask the parents what's going on. And just Nidhika, just to let you know, you spoke about a lot of traumas. Many children don't go through any traumas, and yet they're not happy. And then what's happening there?
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. I know of a case where the kid had everything that you can think of. She still has the shoulder pain, which refuses to go. You can't find any flaw anywhere.
Amazing.
And yet there will be something that nobody is able to sort out. So it's not necessary that people have to go through horrible stuff to manifest something. That it could be as simple as someone saying, oh, you're so fat, you're so thin.
Oh, trust me, I've gone through that one.
And someone just catching that and nothing else.
Yeah.
But that could be the biggest trauma of their life. You don't have to go through sexual abuse to make it big.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It's how you make it in your head, right? I mean, how you perceive it, how you receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure audience know about this, that we constantly hear something and people are talking to us about something, but we're making constantly something else of it.
Right.
And what we made of it is going to create us.
My realities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me, I'm sure, you see a trend of, what kind of problems people come with, right?
Yeah.
So what is the trend right now? What kind of challenges do people come with? Like most of your cases would be around what challenges?
I love the way you say trend. It's like a fad. Like today there is a plaza
even like, for example,
on.
like a lot of cases of cancer these days, right? Like which was not there when we were growing up. It was unheard of. Literally now every family, you will see a diabetic case, you'll see blood pressure, you'll see cancer. It's normal. Like it wasn't like that earlier. And I wouldn't even say it's normal. I would say it's happening and we think it's normal. It may not be normal at all. So like what kind of trends do you see?
So I see all kinds of trends. Like I said to you, people come to me when they don't have answers to why they had it. And most of them come when they're told that they will not live. So it could be that they cannot live because they had cancer, or they cannot live with this man because they're going through horrible marriage. And the trend is that today the family system is becoming extremely fragile. We don't have the kind of support that our parents did.
Right.
And I'm sure that that's one of the major reasons that we are so bitter. We do have digital media, which we even right now, but it doesn't, we have a very glam picture outside.
Yeah.
I often hear people, including in my profession, saying, I cannot talk about my rubbish to anyone because I got to pick and put that image of being perfect. If I'm not perfect, people will not come to me.
Right.
We have somewhere sold our vulnerability and courage.
I agree with you.
And we are somewhere holding on to a fake image. And my mentor, Dr. Kwesi, always says, what is inauthentic is inauthentic. So search for where your inauthenticity is. And the minute you find where you're inauthentic, you will know why you had something.
Right.
And to be honest and bluntly honest to ourselves. And I love the way bluntly, why can't we sharply be honest with ourselves?
Right.
Even if it cuts us. Because it will cut you for a minute, but you won't go on with that relationship just because. You wouldn't go on making yourself unhappy in that job just because it was paying you more.
Correct.
We stick to things. We are worse than the prostitutes, sorry, and prostitutes, I have deep respect for them. But we are worse than them because we are actually constantly running only behind money. I'm not saying money is not important. I love money too.
Right.
But you know, the best way to sort out any problem, just hold your child here. Just hold your child here and see how that feels.
Yes. Children are healing.
The hugs, the love.
Absolutely.
When people don't have that in their life, the trend is that we are in love with an image rather than in love with life. And that's what's creating more problems, in my opinion.
Beautifully put, I must say, Dr. Anu, really. I mean, it couldn't have been put in a better way. So tell me, if there was somebody who wanted to, get involved with mental health or learn about it, do you also teach, or do you only do consulting?
No, we have workshops. Okay. Right now it's happening on 22nd, 23rd in Bombay.
Okay.
And then in Calcutta. We've had recently the first international workshop outside the country in Egypt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We already have a master trainer there, just gone to kind of help and carry my
legacy. Yes.
What? Because each of the master trainers which are there, we teach differently. We are all beautiful people, but we teach differently.
Right.
So the thing is, if you really want to learn about it, there's a lot of information on the net. You can connect with us and we do workshops. You can take healing and see. I wouldn't call it healing. You can get a diagnosis and see how it feels.
Yeah. Got it. Awesome. So that's been really good. But like any talk show, we have to have a rapid fire round. And in our talk show, we call the segment In a Minute. So we'll go with in a minute. So it's got to be really rapid. I'm going to shoot the question and you're going to shoot the answer right back at me. Okay? So let me begin by asking you the first one. It's called, if you could relive your life, would you change any decisions you made?
No.
Okay. What one piece of advice would you give to your younger self?
Just be more happy.
Okay. If you could live the life of any movie character, whom would you choose?
Amitabh Bachchan.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. All right. What are the essential attributes of a good healer?
I think the person should just have a good rapport.
Good rapport. Awesome. What keeps you inspired?
Life.
Life. Okay. For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
My parents.
Wow. What is the greatest lesson that you have learned?
Never give up.
Never give up. If you found a way to time travel, where would you go?
Back to that 6-year-old.
An idea that changed your life?
A photograph that came up in a magazine, and it changed my life because I said it can happen everywhere. Well, I can see that I can be published in other magazines.
Lovely. Anu Mehta in 3 words.
In 3 words. Bad, open-minded, and someone who is constantly happy and grateful.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. So with this constantly happy and grateful person, I'd love to play an interactive game if you're up for it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's move into our next segment called Take 5. Okay, Anu, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 adjectives around success in this segment, and you have to give me the first person that comes to your mind, or an idea or a thought. And the person can be a known person or a celebrity or somebody you know closely.
Okay.
Okay. So the first word is resourceful.
Well, the resourceful, I think of any child on this earth. You see, any child on this earth, babies, they can convert anything into a toy.
How sane. Compassionate.
Mother Teresa?
Diligent.
I think the everyday laborer is the most diligent.
Diligent.
He gets up in the morning and does what he needs to do and ends his day with good food and nice sleep.
Right. Generous.
Santa Claus.
Don't favorite. We all want a Santa Claus in our lives? All right. Practical.
Practical, I would say, is someone like my mother-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, despite going through all the things that she went into her life, she understood how she has to hold herself together.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Maybe I need to get her on the show.
Maybe. She's a very strong lady.
Amazing. Lovely.
Yeah.
I believe you also said you learned sound healing at some point, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So I can't let you go off the hook without actually getting you to play some sound for me. So we'll move into our next segment, which is called Show Them What You Got. So we'll go with the sound healing, Dr. Anu.
So these are Tibetan bowls.
Okay.
And these are mallets of different kind.
Okay.
And various healers would call the bowls with different names. Mm-hmm. And I always say naam mein kya pada.
Naam mein kya rakha hai, sahi baat.
Kaam kya karta hai, ye dekhna hai. Hai na?
Right.
So here I would like to acknowledge all my 3 teachers. So the people who taught me sound is Sujata Singhi. She's in India. We have Chintan Dalal and Priyanka Patel.
Okay.
I think this is just the beginning of the list. So you could either play right here or you could do the rimming.
Okay.
And just close your eyes and relax. So Nidhika, what we could do with the next one, maybe you can help me out?
Yes.
You know how to chant Om, don't you?
Yes.
We all know.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to put this in the center.
Okay.
And when I strike, let's both say Om together.
Okay. All right.
Once more.
Love the resonance that comes with it. Beautiful.
What I'm going to do is bring this bowl closer to you.
Okay.
Feel the vibrations.
Okay.
Because it's not just about the sound. These bowls touch the part of your body which is called the reptilian brain.
Right.
And help you to release the trauma that you've been holding for years and years and years.
Wow.
And without any talk. So feel it. I'm just going to put it next to you. This actually is for the base, for the ground, but it doesn't matter. Close your eyes, feel the vibration.
It's almost like entering my, aura, my spirit. Like it's just, I can feel it going in.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
We also do the rimming. So this is one way of doing it. So different sizes of bowls will create different resonance.
Right.
And when I say resonance and frequency, we're talking about speed. But this is beautiful. Again, they're made up of different metals and materials. And what I'm doing is rimming. So what I did was striking here. What I'm doing is rimming. If the energy of the room is low, it's going to take time.
But it's picking up. I can feel
it
go up and like in volume. Wow. It's like as if it has a volume tuner. It's going up and up and up. Oh my God. Wow. So balancing the masculine and the feminine.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And what I really like about sound is that when we do a lot of intellectual work, we try to do a lot of therapy and say, you know, this is connected with that, and that's connected with that, and that dot with that, and that dot with that. But we're doing that all at a level of a conscious level.
Right.
But our entire programming, Bruce Lipton says, is at a subconscious level.
Correct.
And so what is at the subconscious level, even you don't know. It isn't going to come up.
Right.
So during the sound, what I have experienced is just amazing. I remember my first sound session, I released anger. I tore a pillow. And not just that, in a very big bowl that I have at home, so when that was played for the first time and I stood in it.
The whole body one,
the whole body
you can
one.
Stand and
yes,
they play it,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
I actually danced Indian classical dance, and I have no clue of Indian classical dance.
Oh my God.
For more than half an hour, with mudras, I danced inside that bowl. When I came out, they asked me, and do you teach this modality? And I said, no, I haven't ever learned. You don't know that you don't even know that there is so much about you that's been unexplored.
Right.
And that's the part that this unintellectual rimming, but beautiful rimming and beautiful striking gets for you.
Amazing.
So it also treats diseases which otherwise intellectually you may not be able to solve.
Wow.
And including cancer.
Oh.
We've had results with blood cancer where the doctors had told her that she will not do well. And 3 sessions of sound, and her hemoglobin levels were, to begin with, at 22, which is an odd number.
Ouch.
Yes. And it came down to 12.8, where she was said that you can actually donate blood.
Oh my God.
Which means she doesn't have a problem.
Right. So Dr. Anu, what are these instruments here also that you have? What are they for?
These are just add-ons, basically. I like the add-ons. I always like to kind of experiment. And like music was something so odd for me because I said now I didn't have any kind of a understanding of it till it suddenly walked into my life again. So these are rattlers which we use. So when we are doing meditation for a big group, it sounds like, what does it sound like, Nidhika?
To me, it sounds like footsteps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And or you can say like ghoda gadi.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's generally used very well when you say let's move ahead in life.
Like a camel or a horse or like maybe even the palki.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it brings up a very nice feeling along with. So we sync it up. This is another one that we use, which is very interesting. It's like,
I love it because it has a gunguru, such a beautiful sound.
So you remember the olden times, the stories that we heard, the Havelis,
yes,
and the chudel and the Havelis,
and the
Kungru Awaz.
The last movie I saw was
you never know. You never know who has that going on in the head and who was where in their past life.
Oh, I can, this one's for me. Trust me, it's bringing up something for me for sure.
And your body will choose the vibration.
I love it.
I love it, right?
I love it, and I feel like मैं ही चल के आ रही हूँ रात को.
Socially. So, just that different instruments will bring up different emotions. I also play a big gong. I couldn't carry it here. It's huge plates, and we also use tuning forks.
Okay.
So it's a whole set. If I was to, with no disrespect to sound healers and sound healing, my children would say this: "Mom, you have the utensils to put the food.
Seriously?
You have a plate which is like the gong, and you have the tuning forks which is like the fork." So basically, I have a whole buffet here.
Whole buffet.
The buffet of love and vibrations.
And yet you do Meta Health and you use it as an add-on to help them,
We
right?
have very gracefully used this in. So we were. I've integrated sound along with Meta Health extremely well, and we did it for the Barcelona conference, which recently happened in Barcelona. And we were supposed to do one show, but we ended up doing 3 shows.
Wow, because they loved it so much?
It's not just loving it, people were able to release the trauma. So there was this lady who was who had been raped in her childhood.
Ouch.
And she was able to release that trauma. There was another lady who was able to rebirth herself. There was a third person that I know, my mentor again. I wouldn't say again his name because he may not like this right now, but he had lost his father and he was able to let go. And his little baby, 1.5-year-old, who was walking around, he just walked up to us, and it was almost like Aarti and I played together with Anjali, and he carried the stuff and said, almost literally telling us, "Don't stop playing. Even if my father is screaming, let him."
Oh, wow.
So there can be at times a very explosive reaction. There can be very calming reaction. And often I used to wonder what that is about, but now I understand that it's about releasing a trauma that has been stored in the body for years and years and years. And what better way to do it than in 1 hour of sound?
Sound healing.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So we played sound in Brown University, Egypt, and of course in India. Just played 2 days back in Mrs. India pageant. It's a very relaxing way. I can actually put you to sleep to help you to release the trauma. It depends what's the requirement.
Got it.
And how your body's going to react, you have no control over it.
Right.
But things open up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this beautiful sound session. I'm telling you that Ghungru one is for me. For sure, with all the Rajasthani jewelry I'm wearing today also, I think it works. So I'm quite sure that after listening to all that you have shared, a lot of people would want to get in touch with you. So we'll move into our next segment called the Social Connect. So Dr. Anu, would you be able to share with my audiences, if they wanted to get in touch with you or connect with you, what is the best way and where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram under anu.metamedicine.
Okay.
This Anu Mehta is again on the Facebook. You can also go on Instagram, another handle that I have called Meta Health India. You can also go on my website, metahealthindia.co.in.
Wow.
You can go on my blog, anumehta.co.in. And I think it's all interconnected. So if you find one place, you'll find the other.
So if you just put Meta Health India, you will find Dr. Anu Mehta.
That's right. Or you can go on the Google and just write Anu Mehta and Meta Health, Meta Healing, or Meta Medicine. You put any of these, there are a lot of articles which are there.
Right.
Photographs, videos. There are at least about more than 100 educational videos which you can go and have a look at.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anu, for talking to me and for being on this show. And I have a little present for you right here. It's actually an award. It's called the INVINCIBLE'S with NIDHIKA BHAL Award. And it's been given to you for the incredible journey and the success story that you've had.
Thank you.
And I know it's only a beginning. You have a whole world to capture.
And you know what's amazing, NIDHIKA? Yeah, 2 days back, I got a trophy with a lady standing with the wings like this.
Wow.
And I've often said, I feel like a bird in a cage many years back. And then I said somewhere halfway through that I feel that I will take the cage with me and fly.
Wow.
And day before yesterday, I said, the lady's out of the cage. She's developed the wings. And today you give me the eagle.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
the whole journey.
That it's actually a phoenix. So,
Yeah.
you're out of the fire, you're ready to
Absolutely.
soar, and you're ready to transform the world. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you everybody out there who's been watching this episode. Thank you so much. If you've liked what Dr. Anu Mehta had to share, please do like and comment, and definitely share it with your friends and family so we can reach more people and reach out to more and more people, and Dr. Anu can help them. And definitely, if you're watching this for the very first time, do subscribe to my page and do subscribe to Meta Health India with Dr. Anu Mehta. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Invincibles with NIDHIKA BHAL.